All right. This is Steve Jackson's Sorcery. I'm very excited to play this game. It's been a while. Choosing my dude. You have walked into the wilds of Kakabad through care and spiteful Baklands on the way to Mampang. You have survived traps, thieves, serpents, and vengeful gods, and now it is here. I love this game. This is reminds me of when I was young. I played the choose your own adventure style games. It's very much of that vein. It is said the crown was never forged, only found by Shalana the Reformer, a lowly foot soldier who became emperor of the eastern world. Such is the power of the crown. The air around it crackles with influence. Should we take it? Let's take it. Your destiny awaits. With the crown in your hands, you will be as powerful as Shanalana. The goblins are arming, the giants are walking, and the birdmen carving cruel daggers from stone. War will come, but you will prevent it. But then, the image of the crown begins to flicker. You rush forward. It's a trap! And startle yourself awake. You are alone, exhausted, in a little hut on the outpost settlement. Your unimaginable journey is not even a single step begun. I personally enjoy this game quite a bit, but it is a game that is kind of controversial in the way that your fate is kind of random. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure book. You make the choices, but it's not really a skill based game as much as it is luck and just trying to make the right choices. There is a fighting system, and as you'll see here soon, it's more theoretical than physics based. Let's pull back at this map here. Very beautifully rendered. I like the style. It just reminds me of just having an RPG session with your friends and just having a good time and being creative. It is sunrise. You dress. Breakfast on bread and goat's milk, and collect the pack and sword from beside your bed. Okay, let's test the blade. You pause to test the blade against your thumb. The blacksmith has done well. The edge is keen and draws a narrow line of blood. Outside the hut, you hear the outpost settlement stirring into life. Let's pray for luck. Taking a moment more, you close your eyes and raise a prayer to your spirit guide. This morning has the form of a panther. But what will it become once your journey truly begins? A great calm descends on you. Time to depart. You flip the flap of the hut and step out in the early morning sunshine. Of reading the Choose Your Own Adventure books. If you're a kid from the 90s or the early to late 2000s, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Greetings, Sergeant. Greetings, Sergeant. He touches his forehead with two fingers. You are almost ready, he says. I have a gift for you from the king. 24 gold pieces is all we can spare this time. He holds out a pouch. What do you think we should do, guys? I say, we get. Should we be greedy? Should we be greedy, or should we be humble, or should we be somewhere in between? What do you think? Probably the decent thing is to take half, but since this game, it's unclear about. Your resources are taken very arbitrarily, and so it's really hard to tell what's going on. So let's be greedy. Let's take the full 24 in case we need it. You accept the gift graciously. Thank you. You should buy some supplies before you pass the wall, the sergeant says, and you must collect your spell book if you wish the magic to aid you. Finally, you should wish to practice your swordplay. Practice with the S, I see it's with a C. I will go one last round with you, and he points with his staff towards the training ground. Alright, so what should we do first, guys? Should we practice our fighting skills? Should we buy supplies? Or should we collect our spell book? Let's just do the training ground first. And that way you can get an idea with the fighting system. Again, if you're a hardcore like Diablo fan, and I do enjoy Diablo, this is not a very physics-based combat. The whole system is very like reading a book almost. and it's very random, and it's very arbitrary, and fate can smile and curse you within a matter of seconds. So it's maybe more true to life, but it's also, I think, makes for a very entertaining game. It's kind of like reading a book while it's being written. It's very interesting. You walk with the sergeant to the training ground, and he wraps the base of his staff in leather. Let's ready our sword. To begin, the sergeant says, we will practice the stances. First, defend yourself against me. So for defending, we just kind of hold back. So I'm going to click on defend. So he didn't do anything. The Sightmaster is a powerful enemy. By defending, you will receive a minimum damage from any attack he makes. The Sightmaster Sergeant defends himself well. The round is a stalemate. I will defend myself now, he says. Whatever attack you play will damage me, but a strong attack will use up more power. You should choose a weak attack. So yeah, if I would have known that he wasn't going to do anything when he said defend, I could have made a lunge earlier. But here we go. So let's see if he's playing mind games and he's going to attack when I attack. So full force attack, and you see the scale on the side shows you how much power is dedicated. And there are times where a jab is more appropriate, a side swipe, a cut, a thrust, a lunge, a charge. So there's different levels, but it is honestly kind of arbitrary. You have to kind of guess what your enemy is going to do by reading the text, and even then it's not very clear. So I can understand this game can be very frustrating to people that are used to Diablo or those kind of style games. All right, so he didn't do anything. So we hit him, but even with a full on lunge, with putting all our back into it, probably because he was defending, it did less damage, and now our energy is slightly drained. You play a strong attack, rushing for the Sightmaster Sergeant who is defending. You could have played a lower attack and save more power till the next turn. You see, it's really hard to gauge, even though they told us to just go for it. My next attack will be one of my strongest, he declares. If you can perform a full attack, you may overpower me, but otherwise you had best defend yourself. For a strong attack, pull your character to the right. To defend, pull your character to the left. So we're going to go on the defense. I have a feeling he's going to attack this time. Yep, and he hits hard. And again, it only deals me 1 damage because I was defending. You defend yourself. The Sightmaster Sergeant attempts a strong attack, but you will only receive a small amount of damage. He will be weaker now, so his next attack will be lower. I will defend myself, he says. So he's going to defend himself. Let's try a side swipe. That way we're not dedicating all our power, and we can keep our power in reserve for the next attack. Alright, so 1 damage. We're taking him down. He's got 2 health left. You make a medium attack, going for the Sightmaster Sergeant who raises his defense. Remember, playing weaker attacks save your power for the next round, correct? He raises his defense but says nothing. So what is he going to do, guys? Alright, I have a feeling he's going to be in defense, but he could be psyching us out. So since he's going in defense, we might as well not dedicate a full attack to it. Let's just do a side swipe again. Alright, we got him down to 1. You swing with a weak attack, overpowering the Sightmaster Sergeant again, who is defending. The enemy's stamina is on top. If this reaches 0, you've won the fight. My next attack will be weak, he declares. You'll be able to overpower me by playing a stronger attack, but be sure your attack is stronger. Alright, let's go for because we've been attacking through this, and fortunately I didn't do a lunge every time. I can do a pretty potent attack, but it's not going to be a full lunge. You choose a powerful attack, injuring the Sightmaster. Once more, he bows. You have finished me. Excellent. 1 stamina lost. Skilled sword play. Alright. Good deal. Looks like our stamina's back to full. Alright, I think we've had enough training. You shake your head. Very good, the sergeant agrees. But if you wish a bout in earnest, then I warn you, it will not go easy on you. He indicates the wider yard where there's space for a true match. What do you think, guys? Should we take his challenge? You see, in a physics game, it would be worth the time spent to take the challenge. because it's a lot more dependent on what you do versus being an arbitrary reading of the text and trying to guesstimate what your opponent's going to do when it's kind of random. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the fight in the yard. Let's go buy some rations. Small traders in the settlement supply the site master warriors with weapons, armor, food, and clothing. You go over the sergeant to a stall selling flatbreads and cheese. 2 gold pieces per ration, the owner says. Let's go ahead and buy 2 Let's haggle. Let's see if we can haggle. Do you know who I am? I am Analand's great hero, you tell him. The man looks uncomfortable. I know that, but I have to feed my family today, whatever happens to the crown. Fair point. Let's buy 2 rations. We need to save our money, and there's still a lot of towns ahead where we can buy supplies, and 2 rations should last us a while. Let's go ahead and buy 2 rations, and plus we still have to buy our more our practical supplies that can, maybe get us some food out in the wild, or help us in situations where we can gain more resources. And food is perishable, so you hand over your coins, and the man places 2 rations carefully in your pack. You must be sure to eat every day or you will suffer, the sergeant tells you. Standing at your side, eating more will give you extra strength, but is not necessary. So we have to be careful when and how we use these rations. Now let's go and collect our spell book. One of the huts set slightly back from the others is decorated from glyphs and strange symbols. A terrible smell emanates from the doorway. This is the hut of the chief mage. He has been preparing your spellbook for days, reading star charts to work out what spells will be available to you in different locations in the hills and beyond. Let's go inside. You lift the flap and go inside. The mage looks up at you with haggard, sleepless eyes and presses the book in your hands. Do you understand how to use this? Tell me. Each spell is crafted through the alignment of the 3 stars. He begins. The spell Zap, for example, is made by aligning the Sathrasta, Aegeus, and Bini, but that is not important. What matters is what the spell is called, and what it does. Zap will give you control over lightning. Hot will create a fireball. FOF will create a force field around you. Shall I continue? Tell me more. The mage nods. The law spell is formed of Lilith, Aegeus, and Wax. It will allow you to control the will of unintelligent creatures. The wall spell is quite different and uses different stars. The order matters, you see. Wall creates an invisible barrier. It kind of makes sense. WAL, wall. You will find the rest of the books he added. Tapping the leather-bound volume. I want to know more. The mage looks surprised. Well, Dop spell is useful for locks. Walk will shield you in battle, and dumb will cause clumsiness. He scratches absently in his ear. Remember, some spells will cost you effort to use, but the ones that don't will not work without a focus, an item of some kind. You will need to read the book to know about that. Alright, let's take a gander in our spell book. Like everything else in this game, spells are... The spell system is very random. It's not a very, I mean, there is mana, but instead of mana, it's your stamina. So when you cast a spell, you cast it from the same source, and you draw from the same source that you draw when you get dealt battle damage, or if you trip and fall, or so. You have to be careful when you want to use the spells. Now, they're super powerful, and they can really change the tide as far as choosing a proper spell for a proper situation, but it does draw directly from your stamina, so you have to kind of bear it in mind. A lot of these kind of make sense, and you'll see as we go through the spell system, you have a spell book that you can look them up, but you're kind of limited in what spells that you can use depending on if you have a focus item, and they also only allow you a selection of certain spells to apply to any given situation. So it is kind of a controlled environment, which is more of a narrative type of thing than an actual physics based thing. So it definitely this game is very like meant to be kind of like reading a story, and is more whimsical. It's a very whimsical game. And if you like to grind and you like to get the best weapons and whatever, you can't really predict what's going to happen. And even when you cast a spell, if you cast the wrong spell, it doesn't work very well, and it's hard to know what's the right spell to cast. So this game I find it very enjoyable, but a lot of people would be very frustrated with it. All right, approach the gate. You reach the foot of the mighty gate. It is sealed. The sergeant placed one hand on the wood. The gate has been locked for some time to deter raiders, he tells you, but you will have no difficulty. The stars in this place allow the DOP spell to be crafted, and he stands back. Okay, this first spell, they're giving us kind of a hint, and now you can kind of get an idea of the spell system. So the spell system is very arbitrary. So I'm unless you have the spell book memorized or have a cheat sheet, I advise, if you're very meticulous, to have a cheat sheet. Write down what the abbreviations for each spell and what they do. But I think that's overthinking it, because they only give you so many options for spells, and so you can't just pick any spell out of your spell book. So, and the good news is you can kind of try them out with even having to write them down. So I can do, let's just see here. So they said DOP. So in this case, he gave us a clear, what we're supposed to do. So here we go. So we have DOP. But let's say you pick a spell and you didn't look at the abbreviations, and you are curious about your results, or you look at the end and you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted. You can actually go back. So you can click on these letters here, and with no penalty, and it will bring you back all the way to the beginning. So I could see what else I could do. I could click zap and create lightning and blast the door open with my magical powers. But I think that would be a bad idea. Like, it'd be fun and make for good storytelling, but I have a feeling I would, fry some poor villager passerby, or damage myself or the sergeant. So I'm going to go ahead and choose not to do so. But let's see here. Hot looks like I can fireball it. Again, probably don't want to fireball their gate. Probably not going to be on good terms with these guys when I return as their hero. If I burn down the village, it's not point going on a quest if the village is burnt down. So let's go back to what they suggested, which is the proper way to do it, which opens doors and locks. But again, they're already, if you're meticulous and you play Diablo on hardcore and you want to never get hurt, and you do everything in your power to work the physics engine in your favor, and that's how you like to play, this game is not for the squeamish of heart in regards to it's so cruelly arbitrary. So I had to open this door. I'm already unwillingly giving up stamina. So if you're someone who likes a perfect character who never gets hurt and has a perfect run through a game, then this is not the game. So already I have to pay the piper. You weave the spell one by one. The great tumblers of the door begin to creak and moan, and then the hinges turn with the noise like hail on a canvas roof. These gates have not been opened since our last champion was lost, the sergeant says. I wish you more luck than he. Perhaps you'll even meet him in your travels. I fear he is dead. If I overtake him, then he is too slow. That does not concern me. Well, I don't want to be a prick, so I'm not going to do that. Does not concern me. The other two options they give us is I fear he is dead, which is very pessimistic, and kind of pull yourself up by the bootstraps. If I overtake him, then he's too slow, which is kind of mean on a guy that's trying to save them. I'm just going to say I fear he is dead, because then it implies that their champion was brave and died in battle and brought honor to their village in his death. I am sure he is dead. The Sightmaster nods, peering at something in the horizon. I believe he is returning, but transformed. I hope you do not meet the same fate. He stands back from you. Well, what does that mean? I don't know if I'm excited to find out. Let's Let's hope we don't get transformed into anything that we don't want to get transformed into. All right, let's enter the gate. Together, you step into the shadow of the wall. One last word, he declares. When you have the crown, find the highest point you can find. We will be watching. Watching? That's kind of creepy. Watching from where? Watching from where? From here. The Sightmaster warriors are selected from birth for their incredible powers of telescopic vision. You cannot help but wonder how far he can see. I guess Sightmaster kind of like clued us in. Well, since he's got the big eyes, let's ask him what's going on. Tell me what lies ahead. This path leads first to Cantopani, a settlement of traders, which though most are rogues and thieves. You should be there before the sun has reached its peak. From there, 3 routes lead on to Kristatani, but no single route is safe. Kakabad is a land of devils. And I love this game. They come up with their own names. It's super original, super creative. But I'm gonna murder these words because it's just for fun. And a lot of these are not based on real life. They're just made up words. Okay, beyond Kiar, matey. I cannot see so far, he says, but once you have crossed the seaport of traps, you will enter the Bachlands. They say that day and night there, controlled by forces other than the sun, and from Kier too, your progress will be watched. Well, thanks, man. That's kind of creepy, but, that's what you like to do. Alright. Well, I guess we're going to be watched over. I don't like being surveilled by anything, but, life goes on. It's time to go. Striding away, you pass the gate. The faces of the folk watching your departure reveals the hopes that the rest on you and your quest. The early morning air is crisp, and the rising sun paints the slopes of the land in shades of peaceful beauty, concealing the evil that lies ahead. Alrighty then, to Kakabad. Into Kakabad, the land of Kakabad, the land of devils. The path winds through slopes of wild scrubland. The countryside is deserted, and the eerie silence is broken only by the cawing of the occasional crow. There is a spell for hearing what they say, but you do not have the equipment it requires. The birds appear to pause in the air to examine you as they pass. They make you uneasy, as if you were an intruder in their presence. Let's keep walking. Ooh, ouch. So our stamina just got sliced in half. That's... Again, what if you want the perfect character build? You're not getting it here. They just are arbitrarily cruel. They just cut our stamina in half, and that's just super mean. Barely an hour beyond the wall, the air begins to grow foul. The Shumante hills are infested with the pestilence of the Bachlands. It saps the energy from your body, leaving you feeling nauseous and weak. Well, maybe we'll cover our mouth. You cover your mouth with the neck scarf, but it does no good. They warned you of this. You will grow accustomed to it the longer you're out here, but for the moment you must be very careful. Your maximum stamina is just decreased. You can see your stamina at the top of the screen. If this reaches 0, you'll be too tired to carry on. Stamina can be regained up to the maximum by eating rations or resting. So, wow, maybe we should have bought a few more rations if we knew our stamina was going to be halved, but it sounds like it's a temporary thing. It sounds like that we'll get our stamina back. We just have to adjust to the climate. I'm sure it's the same if you are used to living in a climate that's a more flat lands, and then you go to the mountains, and they say that when you go to the mountains you're always out of breath, and that the air is thinner up there. But once you adjust, then you're twice as strong because you have adapted, and you are able to breathe the air that's there, and just be able to have more stamina and more prowess. So what should we do, guys? Should we go down the low rise? Now let's kind of zoom out here. Should we travel cross country across the Cantopani gate? Is where we left, so we should travel cross country over near the Cantopani gate, or should we continue to in Cantopani to the next village. What should we do? There's a village this way and a road, so probably easier to walk, especially since our stamina's been drained. It looks like we got a little bit of a hill here that leads into some fields, and it looks like some smaller villages over here. By the looks of the art, it looks like the villages are more hut-like, and these look like there's some huts, but also some longer, like longhouse kind of villages. So this might be a more proper village, as far as they might actually have a tavern, they might have a storehouse, there might be some, more people to talk to get information. Let's proceed this way. Another hour passes, and you crest the small hillock, from the top of which you see the path continuing downwards into a small settlement of huts. This must be Cantopani. Let's take a look. In this game, it's always important to look at things, because it's not like Diablo or even like Skyrim, or like games that have a more traditional combat system where you can kind of rely on your skills. It's more arbitrary, and which creates for a more interesting story, but you really have to be cautious. If they give you a chance to be cautious, err on the side of caution, because if you rush into something, there are variants where they are exceptionally mean and they make it so running in and doing the crazy thing was the smart thing. But usually, if you're cautious, then you can kind of plan, and you can usually get a leg up on whatever is going to clobber you. So you just kind of gotta play it safe. From this distance, it's hard to make out much about the town, except that it must be desperately poor. The fields on either side are brown and caked with mud, and the few penned animals are thin and wizened like thirsty vines. No wonder the Sightmaster warriors don't trouble themselves to protect this place. There's nothing here to protect. Well, that's a little mean. Sounds like they're on some hard times. All right, so we kind of have an idea. So we took a look ahead, and it doesn't look like there's evident danger. We didn't see mercenaries. We didn't see any type of indication that the village is being raided or overrun by monsters, or that it was like an illusion created by a wizard. There's so many things in this game that are creative, that are really fun and make the game enjoyable, but also nerve-wracking in that you have to kind of preview these things. Now, it looks like it's kind of a poor village, so you might not be able to get the supplies that we want, but they could have supplies there that we could use. The other option is to avoid the village, and it looks like there's more hilly land here, and it looks like we'd be heading towards the coast. So, which could be very interesting, but in regards to our goals, we want to kind of try to head up further to Kiar. And to do that, we want to, at least initially, I know like going this way would be easier, but there's a village right there, but we want to try to head in like this general direction here. So let's go take a gander in Cantopani and see what there is to see. Of course, if you are scared of a town like Cantopani, then you could not hope to survive in Kakabad proper. So, we gotta be a little brave. We followed the path down into the town. The round huts are made of hard-baked, bright clay, and the roofs are thinly thatched. As you pass, eyes appear in dark doorways, tracking your every move. For a moment, it seems like this will be all you see of the town's inhabitants, but then a villager appears from one of the dwellings and blocks your path. We could look at him, threaten him, push him out of the way, or cast a spell. Now, 9 times out of 10, if I have enough stamina, I almost like to cast a spell for anything, because it just makes the situation more humorous. And but this time around, since our stamina's down, I definitely don't want to threaten him. That would be kind of a dumb thing to do. He's blocked my path, but he's, doesn't seem to be directly assaulting me. I probably want to push him out of the way. I don't know what this town is. What if the whole village, attacks me, and that's just kind of rude. That's kind of a rude mannerism for a hero. So we want to try to be the best hero. I'm sure we're going to do some devious things, for sure, but we're going to try to do the heroic thing if we can. He is 5 feet tall. They cannot grow much taller out here in this poisonous air. He has thick-set arms and thighs, and is half-clothed in tattered breeches. His eyes are wild, and his long red hair and beard stand out from his face in a wiry tangle. "Halt, stranger," he commands. "What business do you have in Cantopani?" "I want to buy equipment. I'm merely passing through. I need directions. I'm a hungry traveler and need to eat." What do you think, guys? Should we say we want to buy equipment? That'd be the economic choice as far as appealing to their coin purses. Say I'm merely passing through, being non-threatening, and hey, then just going through and not looking around, looking for stuff that can disappear. I need directions, common sense. I am a hungry traveler and need to eat, which would impose on them. So I probably don't want to impose on them. That would be not, if they're nice and kind, then great. But still, asking for a free meal, not even asking around for work for a free meal, probably not the best decision. Needing directions makes me kind of look dumb. I'm merely passing through. That would maybe disarm him, but would also imply that I'm weak. So if this is a town of thieves or murderers or robbers or whatever, then I'm kind of like, I'm just passing through, don't kill me. So I got to show some gumption here. And this will appeal to their coin purses, so it's kind of a positive sort of incentive for both of us. "I want to buy equipment," he grunts, but you can see he's pleased. With emotion, he encourages you to follow, taking you through the village to a large hut. All right, let's see what we got here. Inside, you find that the building is a storage house. A quartermaster, somewhat plumper than your guide, is seated at a table. Let's stride over to him. You stride across the room and put your hand for the fat man to shake. "I am here to trade," you declare. "Are you a merchant? I hear this village has excellent wares." The man looks startled, but gets quickly to his feet. "Please, sit. I'll show you what little I have." "Be quick about it." You insist. "I cannot linger here long." "Of course, sir," he replies, bowing low. The man wags a finger. "Wait here." He disappears for a moment in the side room. Alright, guys. Should we be good or should we be naughty? It says to wait. Search the room. In this game, sometimes will reward, you'll find things for being naughty, but you can also find a trap. But what if we find something that is essential? But, too, if we do search the room and we find something, it's a poor town, so if we steal from them, what does that say about us? But it is a video game. And it is a video game, and I understand video game, you want to, sometimes curiosity, you can explore curiosity without killing the cat. Let's just search the room. We don't have to take anything. Let's just look around. While the man is out of sight, you quickly rifle through the nearby shelves, but find something except for a small vial of potion. What do you guys think? Should we take it? Could probably use it on our journey, right? Like, it would probably be... Should we be noble? Should we be a hero? Or should we be an anti-hero? And what do you think? Temptation. Alright, guys, let's do the right thing. I know that makes us a bunch of sissies. I probably could have helped us later, but it is the right thing to do. Okay. But I have a feeling this guy probably might not actually be on the level, so he might have actually might steal from us still. It's very possible. So especially poverty leads people to do dire things, but that doesn't give us an excuse that because we're with thieves that stealing will make us any different. But I definitely played this game multiple times, and there are multiple ways to do it, and it is interesting to explore the different options in a theoretical story element, if anything, for just a study of morality and a study of just different story paths. You leave it where it is. There's no way of telling what the vial might contain, after all. And true, what if we picked it up and stole it, and it was something that turned us into a block of cheese and he ate us or something. Like, we don't know. The merchant returns carrying a large box. For you, he declares, moving his hand as he speaks. I see what kind of man you are. This collection, the very best, our most strange and interesting artifacts. Ahem. Collected from other travelers who have come this way. I think this guy's a thief. I think he is a big fat thief, and but again, just because he is a thief, and he just says collected, so he could be on the level. I don't know. It sounds fishy. It sounds fishy to me. You have 20 gold pieces to spend. Is there anything worth your while to buy in this place? A musical pipe. You pick a bamboo pipe off the table, carved with a split reed and 6 finger holes. 3 gold pieces, the merchant says. I can't promise you that it has any magic, but it may well cheer you up at night. Alright, well, I guess, playing with my pipe will pine away the long hours, but I mean, it's not really going to give me anything substantial that is immediate, like food and water, or defend myself, or shelter, or clothes, or anything. But let's take a look at it. You never know. He says it doesn't have any magic, but we might be able to supplement it with one of our spells. Let's play it. You place the pipes to your lip and blow a few clear, sweet notes. The merchant nods. It's a well-made little thing, don't you agree? So, it sounds like it at least works. So I was, with this stuff, I'm like, maybe he's just trying to scam me with a bunch of fake stuff. But this pipe seems legit, so let's buy the pipe. You hand him over 3 gold pieces, and he thanks you with a nod. You place the pipe in your bag. Please, the merchant says, something else today. You still have 17 gold pieces to spend. Yeah, we still got money. Let's take a look at weapons. The merchant looks at you carefully, sizing up what kind of customer you are. The kind to place a newly bought dagger against his neck, or the kind to tip him for the quality of the blade. This guy's used to dealing with shady people. But, however, fearsome of your aspect, his love of gold overcomes all other concerns. Heading quickly to the other side of the shop, he returns with a weighty broadsword and an axe. These are both treasures, as well as deadly weapons of war. I'm sure you'll agree. So let's take a look here. Let's see. Let's take a look at the broadsword. You lift up the broadsword. It has a ready weight. The edge is sharp and has clearly been honed by a master craftsman. An exquisite blade, don't you think? The merchant grins. Only 8 gold pieces. Well, it's a sword. So, it's a good weapon. It's good to have a weapon, but we already have a sword. And that's 8 gold pieces when you only have 17 gold pieces. It adds up. And it's a little too much. Too much. You replace the broadsword on the tabletop. It is not the blade for me. You explain very good, the merchant says, patting his money pouch. You are a man of good judgment. What does that mean? I see that. What else? Well, let's take a look at the axe, because the axe can be a weapon, but it can also double as something for survival. We can, cut firewood and create a fire with it, and we already have a sword. You lift the axe from the table. The head is carved with symbols in a familiar language, but the quality of the shaft and the head indicate the axe is well used and may not last many more battles. 7 gold pieces, declares the merchant. Let's see if we can haggle. As like a good haggler. The price is too high for this, you reply. I will give you 5. The merchant looks uncomfortable, but eventually, with a glance around his large storehouse and the empty, unvisited village, he agrees. Very well, 5. But it is my children who will suffer for it. I think he's trying to guilt trip us. I think his kids are probably eating well if he has any kids, because he seems like a bit of a scammer. So I'm not gonna just wallow in guilt over this. I probably should have taken the potion earlier, but whatever. So let's go ahead and buy the axe, and we got it for less than we would have got for the broadsword. So good for us taking the initiative to try haggling a little bit. I will take it, you reply, nodding once. You give him 5 gold pieces and put the axe in your pack. Please, the merchant waves a hand. Keep looking. Take your time. Let's see. Let's take a look and see what we got here. A leather bag. You lift the bag from the table and its contents rattle. Teeth, the merchant replies, showing his own a little. Finest creature teeth, only 3 gold pieces too. Alright, kind of random, but we could use it maybe for a spell or something. What kinds of creatures? Goblins, giants, or mole rats? All sorts. But I couldn't tell you myself, I'm no expert. There's 10 or 12 in there. For 3 gold pieces, it's a good price. It's a good price, I'll take it. I won't buy teeth without seeing them. Are you trying to trick me? Well, we don't want to apply it as trying to trick us, because that will sour our ability to haggle in our relationship. I won't buy teeth without seeing them. He might respect. 12. How many is it? 12 teeth? $10 or $12 in there for 3 gold pieces. Well, I don't know. It sounds like it might be kind of, worth it if it helps us with our spell casting. I won't buy teeth without seeing them. Then you won't buy them. Oh, he's good. He's good. And Ren replies, taking the bag back and placing it under his counter, unless... It is a good price. It is a good price. I'll take it. You hand over 3 gold coin and take the bag of teeth. It's a bit of a risk. He could have just put pebbles in there. He just said it was teeth. I don't know. But hopefully it's worth it. Let's give it a go. A merchant nods and begins to pack his box away once more. I must save something for my next customer, he replies with a smile, but perhaps you will return this way and it will be you. You get up to your feet and you take leave of the merchant just outside the doorway. In the sunshine, you pause to examine what you've acquired. So let's take a look at the axe head. You tilt the axe in the sunshine to read the carvings on the metal. This axe was crafted in the year of Ox for Galandragor, the Protector. Its powers may be realized only by its owner. Interesting. Let's take a look at the bag of teeth. You open the drawstring bag and sift through the contents. It's quite an assortment. There are 3 teeth from an ape, 4 from a goblin, 3 teeth from an ape, 4 from a goblin, 2 from a snatacat, something they made up for this game, and a large molar from a giant that is the size of a ripe plum. Alright, well, it's probably not a bad investment. Assuming we can craft spells. If we can craft spells and summon a giant with a giant tooth, yeah, it's worth 3 gold coin. I'm just kind of trying to justify this because I feel a little ripped off. Striding past the outlying huts, and you send the villagers rushing indoors to hide. Then at the edge of town, you pass a large boulder, and once 2 rough-cut villagers spring out. And at once 2 rough-cut villagers spring out with swords drawn. Bandits! 2 against 1, the first declares. You're lost, calls the other. So hand over your things. Come on. Well, guys, this is the test of our bravery. Now, my instincts say to be a coward and to just hand over my stuff and not get killed. But they might just kill me anyway. And we're supposed to be a hero. We're supposed to undergo some kind of arc where we are able to face danger for the nobility of it, or whatever BS they tell men to do nowadays. So we're gonna try to be manly here. We're gonna try not to run away. Let's try to be manly and do the right thing. All right. So let's at least. I'm not handing over the backpack or my dead body. Let's try. Let's be manly, but moderately manly. I know that really will encourage you. Let's be smart manly. Let's not hand over the backpack. Let's not roll over. And let's not attack them. Let's try to be clever, because being clever, being smart, is an attribute of manliness as well. So let's try some reason. I don't want any trouble, you declare. The first bandit edges forward, sword tickling at your chest. Running you through? No trouble at all. The pack. No, you're not. You're not getting the pack. We're going to defend ourselves. You draw yourself to your full height. You have mistaken me for someone else, you declare. I would like to give you a moment to reconsider, because I will kill you if I have to. The bandits growl and advance on you, one on either side. So a very unfair fight. But this is where casting a spell might come into play. Maybe we can throw some teeth at them or something. Alright. Let's try create a force field. It's an interesting option. Control non-intelligent creatures. Well, they're probably stupid, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to risk it. Oh, we just did that one. How about cause lively dancing? There's that bamboo flute. Let's do it, man. Let's be crazy. We're gonna die. We're gonna die being crazy. They're gonna look at us and we're gonna pull out our little pipe and just play a tune. Play a tune for them. All right, let's be crazy. Jig. You pull the bamboo flute from your bag, raise the spell, and begin to play a merry tune. The angry faces of the bandits turn to expressions of astonishment as they find their limbs jerking in time to the music, quite out of control. Their swords fly from their hands, and they're soon dancing merrily around you. Look at those goofballs. What a bunch of silly goofballs. Alright. Should we lead them back to the village? If we lead them back to the village, that's probably the right thing to do, because we can probably hand them over to the law. But if the village is a bunch of bandits, they might just meet them later on the road, or they just may take my stuff then and there. Or we could lead them to the nearest pit in the ground, which is, there's not really a lot of middle ground. I guess leading back to the village would be the just thing to do, as far as if there's any form of law in the village. Leading to the nearest pit in the ground is kind of evil, but it's something we have to think about, because if we bring back to the village, hopes are the best case scenario, and the right thing to do is that they'll, and this isn't this is back in ye old medieval fantasy made up times where there's a lot of danger. There's not a lot of a law system that's super solid, but the goal is that we would submit them back to the law if there is a law in the village, and that they would be have some jail time. But chances are just as good that it's a bandit village, and they'll be back in the path to find me later with more thugs. Where leading to the nearest pit in the ground is kind of evil at first glance, because you don't want them to. You don't want to be killing people, although they were trying to kill me. But because they were trying to kill me and take my stuff, if I lead them to the nearest pit in the ground, the odds of them finding me again are very slim. They're not gonna come after me, because they'll be dead. So, in the sake of self-preservation, I'm gonna lead them to the nearest pit in the ground. The foothills around you are full of sun drops, edges, and deep pits in the earth. Piping loudly, you lead the two bandits to the nearest gap in the ground they can find. Their expressions, already turning sour from exhaustion, move to looks of horror as they find themselves jumping and jigging on the edge of the pit. Then, with a final leap and clap, they disappear over the side. You put your murderous flute away and continue towards the hills. About a half hour later, reach the start of the climb into the hills proper and continue upwards. Okay, guys, I have some bad news for you. I have some good news and some bad news for you. The good news is that we permanently eliminated a threat. Those guys are not going to bother us anymore. The bad news is we're kind of murderers now. So, but I mean, we're going to kill something sometime on this journey anyway. It is what it is. Let's keep going. Leaning Kantopani behind marks the true start of the wilderness. Behind that tiny outpost, there are scattered homesteads and Kiar. Kiar. Which is it, guys? You make up your minds. I'm just gonna brutalize these words here. The thriving city port, but all are touched by cruelty, isolation, and fear. The Baklands, and the long shadow cast by the Manpang fortress, darken everything. And with the crown gone, and with the crown stolen, things can only grow worse. In the long years since Chalana, the reformer, founded the alliance, the crown has been passed from kingdom to kingdom every 4 years, ensuring each one has its turn to lead, but no more. Redstone, Lendoland, and Galatrana and Bryce have all enjoyed its power. Well, it sounds like they kind of got a democratic republic going on here, where they've got a system of passing the crown around and making sure there's no dictators that stay in power, but not in Analand. But when the crown came to Analand, it was stolen by the birdmen from Zaman and carried off to Mempang with their crown. Somebody's trying to be a dictator, methinks. The Archmage will be unstoppably powerful. There's no chance of seeing an army against him. A military force will not survive the journey. So here you are, lone hero, walking the long path to Mempang alone. 5 minutes later, you reach a fork in the road. The sergeant, for all his eyesight, hadn't mentioned this. Oh yeah, that guy's still watching us, like a creepster. Well, and he can't even do anything to help us at the moment. He's just watching us. He's not sending up smoke signals. Hey, there's a bandit ahead. It's not very useful. Not very useful, Sightmaster Sergeant. All right, let's go to Fork in the Road. The road splits around the base of a gigantic tree, but does not rejoin the other side. The left path winds down the valley, and the right rises up a slope towards the thick forest of the hills. Let's look right. It's hard to see further uphill. The forest is sudden, thick, and the path narrow. It may be hard going in that direction, but the hills will involve a lot of climbing. Eventually, and you may get a decent view of the next leg from the top of the ridge. Let's look left. You pause to consider the lower route. There's a river there. The path follows left bank is a safer route, secluded and protected, but the curve of the landscape would mean that you are almost backtracking. You are about to make your choice when you hear a faint cry from somewhere close at hand. Ooh. Well, guys, let's be a hero. Let's look around. You look around and finally up into the branches of a tree. A pair of wizened cow's feet are dangling down over your head. About to drop on you, perhaps? Who's there? Who's there, you call. The voice cries again, a little more boldly this time. Up here! Help! Help! I can't get down! As the voice of a feeble, wiry old man. Stepping back, you can see him clearly, thin as sticks and dressed in dirt rags. What are you hiding from? How the old man got in the tree is a puzzle. He must have been escaping someone fearsome to climb so high. What are you hiding from? You cry. Damned elves, he replies. I were traveling from the Dumpus, the outpost settlement in Analand, when I were waylaid by Albans, robbed me blind, all but took my eyes, left me up in the tree. I keep getting older, you see. We all do, but some worse than others. Climbed up, and now I'm too old to get down. Let's help out the old codger. It's always good to help your elders. Even if you're not in perfect lawful moral alignment, it's always good to help your elders. Swinging yourself onto the nearest lowest branch of the tree, you reach up and grab the old man by the waist. He is light as a leaf, and within a moment you have lifted him to the ground. Thanks for it, he remarks, brushing himself down, but almost knocking himself over the process. I was starting to get a bit, perturbed, but I'm safe now. He seems remarkably confident, considering the slightest stumble might break him into bits. Okay, what will I do now? What will I get in return? Leave him or move on? What do you guys think? Leave him, move on. We helped him. It's kind of rude, without, just talking to him a little bit. What do I get in return? I mean, he's an old guy. I think there's a certain age that, I know, a lot of countries and a lot of cultures, there's some that really venerate old age, and there's some that don't. And I think unless someone's being a real dick, you have to venerate old age. And you're like, oh, old people are, they're set in the past and traditions, and they're prudes and stuff, and it's like, everything that you say about an old person is going to happen to you. You're going to get old. You're going to lose your handsomeness or beauty. You're going to be less valuable to society as far as what you can physically accomplish. And there'll be a bunch of people making fun of you because you're old. So, I'm not going to ask him for anything. I'm going to be nice. What will you do now? What will you do now? Keep going to Analand, he says. That's where I set off from a while back. Now, you wouldn't believe the story if I told you. Suffice to say, though, I know from my eyes, you're heading out to Mampang, and you'd be better smart than I was in error. He presses a page in your hand. It is a page torn from the spellbook. Look, we were nice to him. He gave us something. This might be use to you. I just found it. Mind. And don't go asking how. Well, he might be a thief, but, we'll cut him some slack because he's ancient. But, nobody's perfect. But, yeah, that always kind of depressing to hear. All right, let's take it, and if best comes to best, maybe we can find its owner and return it, and in the meantime, maybe it will be useful. Let's look at the page. Look at the page. It seems to only half a spell. CA cat. That might have been used for pest repulsion, but is unworkable in its current state. So let's keep it. You take the page, thank him. The man falls quiet, squats down on the ground. With his jabbering done, you hear a buzzing sound from high up in the tree, a beehive. Let's climb up and investigate. Probably going to get stung, though. Leaving an old man sighing with gratitude in the ground, you climb up to the branches of the tall tree. The beehive hangs like ripe fruit from the highest branch, and a huge number of bees dance in and out in a swarm. Well, we probably shouldn't climb higher. Let's use magic. Using magic is always fun. What should we do? Let's pick a random letter. Let's control non-intelligent creatures. These could be considered non-intelligent creatures, or could. I don't know. It's hard to tell what the requirement. This game is very random. Slowness would keep them from coming after me. Yeah, let's do slowness. Ooh, that hurt my stamina, though. You cast, but probably more than if they stung me. Probably better than if they stung me. If they stung me, it'd probably be worse. You cast Spell of the Bees, slowing their buzzing wings. The effect is unexpected, and the bees begin to fall out of the sky. It seems without buzzing at high speed, they cannot stay afloat. The spells also affected the old man. He begins to snore right where he is. With the swarm cleared, you are able to climb the tree and open the hive, removing succulent honeycomb and a nice ball of beeswax. You stash your finds in your pack. The light is fading. It's time to move on. Oh, the man cries suddenly, waking up once more. You want to hear me riddle? I heard it from the Albans. Yeah, let's maybe be useful. You gesture a hand for him to speak. See him, though he sees you not. A stinging beast. In a box not left. To guard a key, it is his lot. To gale a witch of luck bereft. So there's a little bit of a stinging beast, which we do not have. We have bees. Maybe if I'd cast a different spell. I don't know. To guard a key is his lot. I don't know. We haven't been given a key to anything. To gale, I don't know what the term gale means. To cajole, is it cajole a witch? To kind of pester a witch of luck bereft. So this might be useful in protecting us from a witch, but we don't have any stinging beasts with us directly. But maybe they meant something else. We'll see. The high path. The high route seems the most secure in the valley. You can be easily observed from above and led astray, but out in the hills you can choose whichever way you choose. Of course, when night falls it might be cold and exposed on the slopes, but no matter, this journey was never destined to be easy. You climb the hill, letting the old man's jabbering fade quickly away. The path winds upwards towards the hill and into a cover of the wood. The afternoon sun glints through the trees and plays tricks on your eyes. Every so often you catch a glimpse of some strange-shaped animal or other watching you, only to find it as a silhouette of branches and leaves caught at an odd angle. After an hour's walk, you start to feel hungry. Well, it's important to eat every day, but I guess we haven't eaten today yet, so let's stop and have an eat. They'll replenish your stamina, and hopefully we'll find other food soon. So maybe we should have bought extra rations, but I don't know. Again, food is very perishable. You clamber to the top of a low stone dolmen, then sit and pull out the sugary honeycomb and eat while admiring the view down the hillside. Through a break in the trees, you feel better for a real rest. Time to move on. You stand and put on your pack, which you had been sitting to prevent any creatures getting in or any of your things falling out. Then you return to the path. The climb continues, with the path twisting this way and that. The air grows cold and the sun flickers on the horizon, then sets, making it hard to see your way. But the moon is full, and when twilight is done, it will be bright once more. Let's go ahead and make camp. But tire yourself out. The first day be inauspicious. You settle down to make camp for the night in a natural shelter provided by the roots of 3 gigantic intertwined trees. Your backpack will serve for a pillow and your cloak for a blanket. You lay yourself out on the ground and are quick asleep. The moon is high and in the sky when you next open your eyes. You feel warm and more cozy than you did before, as